I used to tell myself that marriage did not have to feel perfect every day. Victoria is exhausted, I would say whenever Daniel asked about Victoria. Running a company that large would exhaust anyone, Daniel answered. I believed that excuse for almost a year. After Victoria became CEO, late nights became normal. Dinner became something I ate alone. Messages became shorter. Kisses became rare. I kept telling myself that success had changed Victoria's schedule, not Victoria's heart. One evening, I brought Victoria's favorite coffee home. I thought Victoria might still be working, I said. No, answer came from the living room. I walked toward Victoria's private office and stopped before opening the door. Voices came through the wood. Victoria was talking to Ryan. Ryan, this cannot keep happening, Victoria whispered. Ryan laughed softly. Then stop pretending the marriage matters. My hand froze on the doorknob. Victoria answered after a long silence. Ethan still trusts me. Exactly, Ryan replied. Ethan trusts too easily. My chest tightened. I should have opened the door. Instead, I stayed there listening. Ryan, I feel guilty, Victoria said. Guilty about what? About Ethan. Ryan sighed. Victoria, Ethan stopped being your husband a long time ago. That is not fair. Then tell me you love Ethan. Silence followed. I waited for Victoria to answer. Victoria did not. Ryan spoke again. You cannot even say it. My fingers slowly released the doorknob. Victoria finally whispered, I do not know what I feel anymore. Ryan moved closer. I could hear the chair scrape against the floor. You know what you feel when I am with you. Ryan, please. You chose me every night you stayed here. My stomach turned. I looked down at the coffee in my hand. The lid trembled because my fingers were shaking. Then Victoria said the words that broke something inside me. I do not see Ethan as the man I'm married anymore. I closed my eyes. For months, I had defended Victoria. I had defended the late nights, the cold messages, the canceled dinners, and every strange excuse. Now I understood. I quietly walked away from the office and placed the coffee on the kitchen counter. Ryan's voice followed me faintly. Will Victoria leave Ethan? Victoria answered. I think Ethan has nothing left to fight for. I stepped outside before either of them could hear me. Cold air hit my face, but I barely noticed. I called Daniel. Daniel answered immediately. Ethan, what happened? I need Daniel to listen. I am listening. My marriage is over. Did Victoria say that? No. I heard Victoria talking to Ryan. Daniel went silent. I swallowed hard. Daniel, Victoria has been cheating on me. Are you certain? I heard everything. What are you going to do? I want to go back inside. Ethan, do not. I need answers. You need to breathe first. I cannot breathe. Then stay where you are. Do not confront Victoria while you are angry. I am not angry. Ethan, your voice is shaking. I looked through the window at the home I once considered safe. I gave Victoria everything. I know. I defended Victoria when everyone said the company was changing Victoria. I know. I thought I was protecting my marriage. Daniel answered quietly. Maybe you were protecting a marriage that only you were fighting for. His words hurt because they were true. I ended the call and stood outside for several minutes. Then I went back inside. Victoria was alone in the office. Ryan was gone. Victoria looked up. Ethan, why are you home so early? I stared at Victoria. Who is Ryan to you? Victoria's face changed. Why are you asking? Answer me. Victoria slowly stood. Ethan, this is not the right time. It became the right time when Victoria decided I was not worth the truth. Victoria looked away. Ethan, I did not want you to find out like this. So, there was something to find out. Yes. The word landed harder than any denial could have. How long? Victoria remained silent. How long, Victoria? Several months. I laughed once, but there was no humor in it. Several months. I was confused. You were married. I know. You came home and kissed me after seeing Ryan. I know. You looked into my eyes and lied. I know. I felt my throat tighten. Did Victoria ever love me? Victoria looked directly at me. I loved you. Past tense. I do not know anymore. That answer hurt more than the betrayal. Victoria walked toward the desk and opened a drawer. I think we should end this. Victoria pulled out 2 documents. Divorce papers. Victoria placed them between us. I want Ethan to sign these. I stared at the papers. Victoria really believes I have nothing left to fight for? Victoria answered softly. I think our marriage already ended. I looked at Victoria, then at the papers. For the first time, I stopped trying to save us. I picked up the papers, but I did not sign. Is this what Victoria wants? Yes. Does Ryan want this too? Victoria hesitated. I'm not doing this because of Ryan. Then why? Because I am not happy. I nodded slowly. Neither am I. Victoria looked surprised. I put the papers back on the desk. I will read everything before signing. Ethan, there is nothing to discuss. There is always something to discuss when a life is being destroyed. Victoria's eyes filled with tears, but I could not reach for Victoria anymore. I walked toward the door. Where are you going? Somewhere I can hear my own thoughts. Ethan. I stopped. Victoria whispered, I am sorry. I waited for the pain to soften. It did not. Sorry is not enough tonight. I left the room. I allowed myself to cry. I had entered that house believing I was a husband. I left knowing I was alone. Beneath pain, question remained. What would I become when I stopped fighting for someone who had stopped fighting for me? I did not go back to my house that night. I drove until the streets became unfamiliar, then parked beside a quiet river and stared at the dark water. Daniel called again. Where are you? Somewhere I cannot hear Victoria. Are you safe? Yes. Have you slept? Not really. Ethan, losing Victoria does not mean losing yourself. I built my life around Victoria. No, you built Victoria's life around your sacrifices. That sentence stayed with me. For 3 days, I lived in a small hotel, barely eating and answering no calls from Victoria. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard the same words. I do not see Ethan as the man I married anymore. On the 4th morning, I returned to my father's old house. I had avoided the place since Michael died. Daniel followed me inside. You do not have to do this today, Daniel said. I need something to keep my mind busy. Then start with one room. I will. I opened boxes filled with old photographs, business records, watches, and handwritten notes. Daniel picked up a photograph. Michael looked serious. He always looked serious. Did Michael ever talk about business with you? Not much. Michael wanted me to choose my own career. I found an old wooden box beneath a stack of books. Daniel, look at this. A small brass key was taped underneath the box. I unlocked it. Inside was a sealed envelope. My name was written across the front. Ethan Carter. My hands began shaking. Open it, Daniel whispered. I broke the seal. The first line stopped me cold. My son, if you are reading this, I am no longer there to explain what I kept hidden. I continued reading. Michael explained that Michael had secretly built an investment company called Carter Holdings. The company owned a controlling share of Victoria's corporation. I looked at Daniel. Is this real? I do not know. I kept reading. Michael wrote that the ownership had been hidden because Michael wanted me to build my identity without depending on family money. Then came the sentence that changed everything. Before my death, I transferred my controlling shares to Ethan Carter. I dropped the letter. Daniel stared at me. Ethan, what does this mean? It means I own the company. The company Victoria runs? Yes. Daniel sat down slowly. Victoria knows? I do not think so. My heart began pounding. For years, I had watched Victoria become powerful while believing I had nothing of my own. Now I realized something terrifying. Victoria had built an empire on a foundation my father had left for me. I called the number written beneath the letter. A woman answered. Grace Bennett speaking. My name is Ethan Carter. I know who Ethan Carter is. You know about my father? I worked with Michael for 20 years. Then tell me if these documents are real. I need to see the documents first. I sent photographs. Minutes passed. Then Grace called back. Ethan, everything is legitimate. My throat tightened. You are certain? Completely certain. The shares were transferred legally before Michael died. Why did Michael hide this? Michael believed wealth could become a cage. He could have told me. Michael believed Ethan needed to learn how to stand without anyone's money. I looked at my father's photograph. For the first time since his death, I felt something besides grief. I felt strength. Grace, I need another favor. I am listening. Do not tell Victoria yet. I will not. I want to understand what happened inside the company. then Ethan should investigate before making any move. That is exactly what I plan to do. After the call ended, Daniel looked at me. You could destroy Victoria. I could. Are you going to? I do not know. Daniel leaned forward. Then do not decide today. I nodded. Before I could answer, my phone rang. Olivia Reed. I knew the name from Victoria's company reports. Olivia. Yes. I need to speak privately. About what? Ryan. My stomach tightened. Go on. I found financial transfers from company accounts to a private business. Whose business? I believe it belongs to Ryan. Believe? I have documents. Why are you telling me? Because I think Victoria does not know. I stood immediately. How much money? Enough to make this serious. Send everything to Grace. I am afraid. I understand. If Victoria discovers I helped you, I will protect you. Olivia was silent. Thank you, Ethan. The call ended. Daniel looked at me. Cheating may not be the whole story. I know. I looked again at my father's letter. The betrayal I thought had destroyed my life was beginning to reveal something much larger. Victoria had broken my heart. Ryan might have been stealing the company. And somehow, without knowing it, I'd been given the power to uncover the truth. I folded the letter carefully. Daniel, I'm not going back to Victoria. What are you going to do? I'm going to find out everything. And then, I'll look toward my father's photograph. Then I will decide what justice looks like. For the first time in days, I did not feel powerless. I felt ready. Daniel smiled faintly. That sounds different from the man who called me 3 nights ago. I was broken 3 nights ago. And now I'm hurt, but I am thinking. Good. I still love Victoria. Daniel did not answer. I hate admitting that. You do not have to hate yourself for loving someone. I cannot let love make my decisions anymore. Daniel nodded. I placed Michael's letter inside my jacket. I spent years believing my father left me nothing except memories. Maybe Michael left more than money. He left me a choice. Which choice? I can become bitter, or I can become better. Daniel stood beside me. Choose. I will. I looked around the room. For years, this house felt filled with ghosts. That morning, it felt like the beginning of my life again. I spent the next week pretending I was still the broken husband Victoria expected. Every morning, I answered Victoria's messages with short replies. Have you read the divorce papers? Victoria asked. Not yet. You said you would. I need time. How much time? I do not know. Victoria sounded irritated. Ethan, there is no reason to delay. I'm not delaying. I am thinking. After each call, I contacted Grace. Any progress? I asked. More than expected, Grace replied. What did you find? Several contracts were changed without proper approval. Who authorized the changes? That is what I am trying to establish. Look at Ryan. I already am. Grace sent copies of contracts, payment records, and internal messages. I studied everything while Victoria believed I was sitting at home mourning our marriage. Then Olivia called. Ethan, I found another transfer. How much? $200,000. To Ryan's company? Yes. Is Ryan's company legitimate? Technically, yes. But the company was created only 8 months ago. 8 months. Yes. The payments began shortly afterward. Send everything to Grace. I already did. Olivia, thank you. I need to tell you something else. What? Ryan has been asking about ownership. My attention sharpened. What exactly did Ryan ask? Ryan asked whether Victoria could increase Ryan's voting rights. Did Victoria agree? I do not know. I ended the call and immediately contacted Grace. Grace, can you investigate Ryan's ownership requests? I already found them. And Ryan wants a larger position before the next board meeting. What? I think Ryan believes Victoria will support Ryan. I leaned back in my chair. That was when the pieces finally connected. Ryan did not simply want Victoria. Ryan wanted Victoria's power. The affair had given Ryan access, trust, and influence. The money transfer suggested something even darker. I called Daniel. I found something. Another betrayal? More than that. Ryan may be using Victoria. Daniel became quiet. Tell me everything. Ryan created a company, moved money into it, changed contracts, and wants greater voting rights. And Victoria? Victoria may not know. Then what are you going to do? I could expose everything tomorrow. You could. Employees could lose their jobs if the company collapses. Then do not make revenge your goal. I want Victoria to suffer. I know. I want Ryan exposed. You can still choose justice. I stared at the evidence scattered across my desk. What is the difference? Revenge asks, how much pain can I cause? Justice asks, how much truth can I reveal without becoming cruel? I remained silent. Daniel continued. Ethan, Victoria hurt you. Ryan may have stolen from the company. Neither crime gives you permission to destroy innocent people. I hate that Daniel is right. You should. I laughed quietly. I will wait. Good. I will collect enough evidence to protect the employees. That is the man I want you to become. After the call, I returned to the documents. Later that evening, Victoria appeared at my apartment. Why have you stopped calling me? I thought Victoria wanted distance. I wanted the divorce. I am reading the papers. You used to beg me to stay. I did. And now, I do not beg anymore. Victoria stared at me. What changed? I did. Victoria lowered her voice. Do you hate me? I'm trying not to. Are you seeing someone? No. Then why do you seem different? Because I finally understand that I cannot force someone to love me. Victoria looked away. I never wanted to hurt you. But Victoria did. I know. For the first time, I saw fear behind Victoria's confidence. Ethan, are you planning something? I am planning my future. Does that include destroying me? No. Why? Because I do not want to become the kind of person betrayal created. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. I thought Ethan would always come back. I thought so too. Victoria left without another word. The moment the door closed, my phone rang. Grace. Ethan, I need you at the company tomorrow. Why? I confirmed something important. What? Michael's shares can officially be activated. My heart stopped. Activated when? At the next board meeting. You are certain? Completely. What happens then? Your controlling ownership becomes impossible to ignore. I stood silently. For months, Victoria had believed I was powerless. Ryan believed I was harmless. Even I had believed I had nothing left. Now the truth was different. Grace, I said, do not tell Victoria. I will not. And Ryan? Ryan will learn soon enough. I looked at the divorce papers on my table. I am ready. For revenge. No. For justice. Grace paused. Then be prepared, Ethan. The next board meeting will change everything. The following morning, I met Grace in a private conference room. Show me the contracts, I said. Grace opened a folder. Ryan changed supplier agreements and redirected commissions. Could Victoria have approved them? Not legally. So Ryan acted without authority. Yes. Then why has nobody stopped Ryan? Because Ryan built trust around Victoria. I looked at the documents. Does Victoria know about the shell company? Not from anything I found. That makes the situation worse. Ow! Victoria betrayed me. But Ryan betrayed Victoria, too. Grace nodded. That is why I want to protect Victoria from Ryan's fraud, even after what Victoria did to me. Grace studied me. That is a difficult choice. I know. Are you sure? I'm sure I do not want innocent employees paying for my pain. Grace closed the folder. Then we will build the case carefully. I stood. Give me everything before the board meeting. You will have it. I walked outside feeling strangely calm. My marriage had become a wound. My company had become a battlefield. But I was no longer walking into that battlefield as a desperate husband. I was walking in as a man who finally understood my value. Grace asked, ready? Ready, I answered. Then tomorrow, let truth speak. For once, I will let it. No anger, no begging, only truth and justice. The boardroom doors opened at 9. I walked inside with Grace beside me. Victoria was already seated at the head of the table. Ryan sat beside Victoria, smiling like the meeting belonged to Ryan. Victoria looked at me. Ethan, why are you here? I was invited. By whom? By Grace. Ryan laughed. This is a private board meeting. Grace placed a folder on the table. It is also Ethan Carter's board meeting. Victoria frowned. What does that mean? I pulled out a chair. You will understand in a moment. The room became silent. Grace opened the folder. Before any decisions are made, I need to establish ownership. Ryan leaned forward. Ownership has already been established. Not completely, Grace answered. Victoria looked confused. Grace, what are you talking about? Grace placed several legal documents across the table. Michael Carter transferred controlling shares of Carter Holdings to Ethan Carter before Michael's death. Victoria stared at the papers. No. I looked at Victoria. Yes. Victoria shook her head. That cannot be true. I do not know either. Ryan stood. This is impossible. Grace looked at Ryan. Sit down. Ryan remained standing. Michael never told anyone about these shares. Grace answered calmly. Michael did not need to tell anyone. The transfer was legally completed and documented. Ryan pointed toward the papers. Documents can be challenged. Not these. Grace opened another folder. The signatures were verified. The transfer was registered. The voting rights are valid. Ryan's confidence disappeared. Victoria whispered, Ethan, how? I found a letter from my father. When? After Victoria asked me to sign the divorce papers. Victoria looked away. I continued. I spent years believing I had nothing. I never knew Michael had left this behind. Victoria's voice became softer. Why did Ethan never tell me? Because I never knew. You could have asked Michael. Michael died before I understood what questions I needed to ask. Victoria lowered her eyes. Ryan interrupted. This does not mean Ethan can control the company. Grace turned toward Ryan. It means exactly that. Ryan shook his head. I have contracts proving Victoria controls the company. Grace replied, Victoria controls daily operations. Ethan controls the majority ownership. Ryan looked at Victoria. Victoria, say something. Victoria remained silent. I watched the woman I had once trusted struggle to understand the new reality. Grace continued. Ethan can activate the controlling shares at this meeting. Ryan stepped closer. This meeting should be postponed. No, I said. Ryan looked at me. You cannot walk into this company and take everything. I'm not taking anything. You are removing Victoria. I have not decided that. Victoria finally looked at me. Ethan, are you going to fire me? I held Victoria's gaze. Not today. Ryan looked shocked. Why not? Because employees built this company with their work. I will not destroy thousands of lives because my marriage failed. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. You still care about the company. I care about people. Ryan laughed nervously. Do not pretend this is about employees. It is. You want revenge. I wanted revenge yesterday. And today. Today, I want the truth. Grace closed the folder. Then the first order should be an independent investigation. I nodded. Investigate every financial transfer connected to Ryan Brooks. Ryan immediately turned toward Victoria. Victoria, stop this. Victoria looked at Ryan. Why? Because Ethan is trying to destroy me. I answered, I have not accused you of anything. Ryan's voice rose. Then why investigate me? Because evidence already connects Ryan to unauthorized transfers. Ryan looked at Grace. Those transfers were legitimate. Grace opened another file. Then the investigation will prove that. Ryan turned toward Victoria. Victoria, you know me. Victoria stared at Ryan. I thought I did. Ryan stepped closer. Victoria, remember everything we shared. Victoria pulled back. Do not use our relationship to pressure me. Ryan froze. I felt something inside me change. Months ago, hearing Victoria and Ryan together would have destroyed me. Now I could see the truth clearly. Ryan had not only betrayed me. Ryan had betrayed Victoria too. Victoria looked at me. Ethan, did Ryan use me? I cannot answer that. But you think Ryan did. I think evidence should answer. Grace nodded. That is why Ethan is ordering a full investigation. Ryan slammed a hand onto the table. This is ridiculous. Calm down, Victoria said. Ryan looked at Victoria. Victoria, you cannot let Ethan take control. Victoria answered quietly. Ethan already has control. Ryan's face changed. I stood. This meeting is not about punishment. It is about accountability. Ryan whispered, You cannot do this. I already did. Grace gathered the documents. The ownership transfer is now recorded. Victoria stared at me. Ethan, what happens to me? You remain CEO while the investigation begins. Victoria looked stunned. You are giving me another chance? No. Then why? Because I will judge performance separately from betrayal. Victoria lowered her head. I do not deserve your fairness. Maybe not. Then why give it? Because I need to live with the man I become after this. The meeting ended. I walked toward the hallway, but Grace stopped me. Ethan, we received new information. What information? Grace opened her laptop. Investigators found a hidden account connected to Ryan. How much? More than $2 million. My heart tightened. Where did the money come from? Grace looked directly at me. Company funds. I stared at the screen. Grace continued. There is more. What? The documents suggest Ryan planned to transfer several million more before the next quarter ended. I slowly turned toward the boardroom. Ryan was still inside. Victoria was beside the window. For the first time, I understood that the affair had never been the entire betrayal. It had only been the door. Behind that door was something much darker. I looked at Grace. I walked back toward the boardroom, carrying no anger, only questions demanding answers from everyone involved. Start the investigation. Grace nodded. Already started. I took one breath. Then let the truth finish what revenge never could. The investigation ended on Friday morning. Grace called me. Ethan, the evidence is complete. How bad is it? Bad enough that the board cannot ignore it. I arrived at the company before noon. Employees filled the hallway, whispering about Ryan's accounts, contracts, and missing funds. Grace entered the conference room carrying 3 folders. Everything is here, Grace said. Ryan manipulated supplier contracts, redirected commissions, and transferred company money into a private account. Victoria stared at the documents. Ryan, is this true? Ryan shook his head. No. Grace is twisting the numbers. Grace opened another folder. Then explain these transfers. Ryan looked at the pages. I can explain. Explain the $2 million moved without board approval. I was protecting the company. Victoria's voice trembled. By stealing from a company? I was building something for us. For us. Ryan stepped toward Victoria. Victoria, listen. I trusted you. I loved you. Victoria closed the folder. You used my trust to reach the company. That is not what happened. Grace placed another document on the table. Ryan also planned to move another $3 million before the next quarter. Ryan went silent. I watched Victoria's face collapse. Ethan, Victoria whispered, I did not know. I believe you. You should hate me. I did once. Victoria looked at me. Can I talk to you privately? I nodded. In my office, Victoria stood across from my desk. I'm sorry. I waited. I'm sorry for Ryan. I'm sorry for the money. But most of all, I am sorry for what I did to our marriage. I said nothing. Victoria continued. I convinced myself that success made me important. I thought Ethan would always be there, no matter how badly I behaved. I was always there. I know, until Victoria chose someone else. Victoria wiped away tears. I made the worst decision of my life. You did. Can Ethan forgive me? I looked at the woman I once wanted beside me forever. I can forgive Victoria. Victoria's eyes lifted. Then save our marriage. I felt a deep sadness, but not the old desperation. I cannot. Why? Because forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Victoria covered a trembling mouth. Please. I once begged Victoria to stay. I remember. I did not want that life anymore. Victoria sat down. Is there someone else? No. Then why not try again? Because I changed. Victoria began crying. I thought Ethan would always love me. I probably always will. Then why cannot love be enough? Because love without trust becomes another kind of pain. Victoria lowered her head. I destroyed us. Yes. A knock interrupted the silence. Olivia entered. Ethan, Grace needs this. Olivia handed me a folder. What is it? Ryan's private messages. I opened the folder. Olivia explained. Ryan planned the transfers before the affair became serious. The messages prove Ryan approached Victoria for access and influence. Victoria stared at the pages. Ryan planned all of this. Yes, Olivia answered. The messages make the timeline clear. Victoria covered her face. I defended Ryan. You did not know, I said. I should have known. Before I could answer, Ryan entered the office without permission. Victoria, I need to talk. Security followed immediately. Ryan pointed toward me. Ethan, if this information becomes public, Victoria will lose everything. Victoria stood. Are you threatening me? I am warning you. Grace entered behind security. Ryan, stop. Ryan laughed bitterly. You think Ethan can destroy me? Grace answered, no. Your own records can. Ryan looked at Olivia. You gave Ethan those messages. Olivia stepped back. I gave Ethan the truth. Ryan turned toward Victoria. Victoria, protect me, and I will keep your private life out of court. Victoria stared at Ryan. You are still trying to manipulate me. I'm trying to survive. No, you're trying to save yourself. Grace motioned toward security. Remove Ryan from the building. Ryan struggled. You cannot do this. I stood quietly. Ryan, you made your choices. You think this ends here? No. Ryan was escorted away. Grace looked at me. The authorities have received the evidence. I nodded. Good. Later that afternoon, Victoria returned to the boardroom. I am resigning as CEO. I looked at Victoria. Are you certain? Yes. Why? Because the company deserves leadership that accepts responsibility. I respected that answer. I will make sure the employees are protected. Thank you. Victoria looked at me one final time. I wish I had understood your values sooner. I wish I had understood my own values sooner. Victoria nodded through tears. I hope you find peace. I think I finally have. After Victoria left, I remained alone in my office. I expected victory to feel powerful. It did not. I expected revenge to feel satisfying. It did not. Instead, I felt something quieter. Peace. I closed the folder and called Grace. Will the employees keep their jobs? That is the plan. Then protect them first. I prepared a recovery plan. Good. I want every employee protected. Grace smiled. Ethan, this is why Michael trusted the future to you. I wish Michael were here. Maybe Michael knew you would become this person. I looked at the empty chair. I spent years thinking strength meant never losing. What does strength mean now? Knowing what I can lose without losing myself. Grace nodded. That is a lesson few people learn. I learned it a hard way. Then make sure the lesson was worth it. I will. Daniel called. Is it over? Yes. How do you feel? Free. Do you hate Victoria? No. Ryan, I want justice. And Victoria? I want peace. Daniel laughed softly. That sounds like you again. I looked through the window at the city. For the first time, I was not waiting for Victoria to regret losing me. I was not waiting for Ryan to suffer. I was not waiting for anyone to prove my worth. I finally understood something simple. My worth had never depended on who chose me. I chose myself, and that was enough. Months passed, and my life became quieter. I walked through Carter Holdings without feeling like an outsider anymore. Grace worked beside me. Olivia managed the new ethics department, and I created a position called Director of Employee Welfare. Daniel laughed when I told him, You created a job just to make sure people are treated fairly? Yes. You really changed. I hope so. You even smile now. I always smiled. Not like this. I laughed. Daniel pointed at me. That. Keep doing that. I looked around my office. I thought rebuilding the company would make me happy. And it helped, but rebuilding myself mattered more. Grace entered with a folder. Ethan, the employee survey results are ready. Anything concerning? Some old staff members are still afraid of speaking openly. Then make sure the new department protects them. It already does. Olivia followed Grace inside. I added anonymous reporting. Good. Anyone can report financial pressure, harassment, or unethical decisions without going through management. I nodded. That is exactly what I wanted. Grace smiled. Michael will be proud. I looked down for a moment. I hope so. My phone vibrated. Victoria. I stared at the screen before answering. Hello. Ethan, can I talk? Yes. I wanted to tell you that I started working with a smaller company. That sounds good. I'm not asking for anything. I understand. I just wanted you to know. I'm glad Victoria is rebuilding. There was silence. Do you hate me? No. Do you ever think about us? Sometimes. Do you wish things had been different? I wish I had understood myself sooner. Victoria breathed slowly. I understand. I hope Victoria finds happiness. Thank you. The call ended. Daniel looked at me. You handled that well. I did not feel angry. That is progress. I think forgiveness finally became easier when I stopped expecting an apology to repair everything. Months earlier, I would have chased Victoria for another chance. Now, I understood the difference between remembering love and returning to it. One evening, Victoria called again. "Ethan, could I meet you?" "For what?" "One final conversation." I agreed. We met at a quiet cafe near the river. Victoria arrived first. I sat across from Victoria. "Thank you for coming," Victoria said. "I thought this deserved a proper ending." Victoria smiled sadly. "I have wanted to say something for months." "I am listening." "Thank you." "For what?" "For not destroying me." I shook my head. I never wanted to destroy Victoria. "You could have." "I had the power." "Yes." "You lost the company because of your own decisions." "I know." "You lost Ryan because Ryan revealed Ryan's own character." "I know." "I only refused to use my position to make the pain worse." Victoria looked down. "That kindness hurt more than anger." "Why?" "Because I expected revenge. I wanted revenge once." "What changed?" "I realized revenge would keep me connected to Victoria." Victoria slowly looked up. "Do you really feel nothing anymore?" "I feel many things. Love. Not the kind that asks for another chance." Victoria swallowed. "Then what is left?" "Gratitude for what was good, sadness for what ended, and acceptance." Victoria wiped away tears. "I thought success would make me impossible to lose. I thought love would make me impossible to leave." Victoria gave a weak smile. "We were both wrong." "Yes. I'm sorry for every night I made Ethan feel unwanted." "I forgive Victoria." "Can forgiveness mean that we might try again?" "No." Victoria closed both eyes briefly. "I needed to hear that." "I know." "Why?" "Because I spent too long believing forgiveness meant returning to the past." Victoria nodded. "I understand now." I looked toward the river. The greatest revenge was never watching Victoria suffer. Victoria waited. The greatest revenge was becoming someone who no longer needed Victoria's regret. Victoria breathed out slowly. "That is a powerful answer. It took me losing everything to learn it. I am glad Ethan found himself." "So am I." Victoria stood. "Goodbye, Ethan." "Goodbye, Victoria." Victoria walked away. I did not follow. I did not call Victoria back. I simply watched the river and let the final thread between us disappear. When I returned home, I opened the old wooden box from my father. Michael's letter was still inside. I read the final paragraph again. "My son, if wealth ever becomes the measure of your life, remember that money can build a company, but cannot build a soul." I hid my fortune because I wanted you to discover your own strength. If you ever lose someone you love, do not mistake loss for the end of your life. Sometimes losing someone becomes the beginning of finding yourself. I read those words twice. Then I whispered, "I finally understand, Dad." I touched the letter carefully. "You gave me more than shares." I smiled through sudden tears. "You gave me a choice." The house was quiet. For the first time, quiet did not feel lonely. My old life had been built around Victoria's approval. My new life was built around my own decisions. The man who entered that marriage believed loyalty meant accepting every wound. The man sitting with Michael's letter understood something different. Loyalty mattered, but loyalty without self-respect could become surrender. Love mattered, but love without trust could become suffering. Forgiveness mattered, but forgiveness did not require returning to the person who caused the pain. I closed the letter. My phone buzzed again. "Daniel, are you home?" "Yes." "Did the final meeting happen?" "Yes." "How do you feel?" I looked through the window at the lights outside. "Free." "Really free?" "Yes." Daniel laughed. "Then tomorrow, dinner. I will come." "No excuses." "None." The call ended. I placed Michael's letter beside the photograph of my father. "Thank you," I whispered. Then I turned toward the window. I had lost my marriage. I had lost the future I once imagined. I had lost the version of myself who believed being chosen by Victoria would prove my worth. But I had gained something greater. I had gained my voice. I had gained courage. I had gained peace. Most importantly, I had gained myself. I no longer needed Victoria's love to feel valuable. I no longer needed Ryan's downfall to feel victorious. I no longer needed anyone's regret to justify my survival. I survived betrayal. I rebuilt the company. I protected people who depended on me. I forgave without forgetting. And I walked forward without looking back. Tomorrow would bring new problems, new decisions, and new chances. For once, I welcomed them. The next morning, I arrived early and found Grace waiting outside my office. Did you sleep? A little. Do you regret anything? I regret the years I spent shrinking myself. Grace smiled. Then do not waste another year. Olivia joined us. The employee council wants to meet you. Why? They want to thank you for creating the welfare position. I did not do it for thanks. I know. Then tell them I want honest feedback, even when the feedback hurts. Olivia nodded. I will. Grace looked at me. You are building something different now. I am trying. You do not have to be perfect. I know. I only need to keep choosing what is right. That is enough. I entered my office and looked at the company reports. The numbers were improving. The employees were speaking openly. The company no longer felt like a prize I had won for Victoria. It felt like a responsibility I had accepted for myself. I would say, pain will change you, but you decide what kind of person pain creates. I would say, keep your heart, but protect it with wisdom. I turned off the light and smiled. My life begins here.